design impacts the bottom line fundamentally in that bad design gives you a very difficult sell. I mean, you know, we're selling tea times, we're selling experiences. If you've got bad design, you're going to struggle to sell those tea times, and you're giving people a bad experience. And you can't sell a bad experience twice. So it's a fundamental part of the overall commercial viability of a project. Is, you start with a position of having a good design that gives you the opportunity to maximize the revenues from tea times and all of the other add-on sales opportunities in the food and beverage and clubhouse and the pro shop and hotels and real estate. Well, the experience, or a good experience, is all related to the challenge of the game. Golf is meant to be a challenge. It's not supposed to be easy, but it is supposed to be fun. And you are supposed to have a good time when you're on a golf course. So our job as designers is to facilitate that enjoyment, but giving a challenge and challenging the very best and the very worst of golfers and everybody in between by giving them options. I mean, bad design is when there's only one way to play a hole. When you've got options that cater for all levels of golf, that starts to sort of tick the good design box. And when you've got that, when you've got that level of flexibility, you are increasing your market, you're increasing your sort of avenue of the number of people that you can bring to a venue. You're selling more tea times, and that just leads, that leads to revenue, and that adds to the bottom line. It's not rocket science in the end. Good design allows for flexibility and it allows for challenge. So, one of the simplest ways of achieving that is, we all know that there's different tee positions for different levels of play, but if they're all in one line, actually the challenge is basically the same. Whereas if you spread them on an angle to play, you create different ways of playing the same hole. And the theory is the further up the hole you go with the tee, the easier that hole becomes. But it still has to be this challenge. The other factor is, there's so much talk about sustainability now, and that can only be a good thing for the industry. But that, sustainability actually adds to the bottom line, because if we can find ways of reducing the amount of maintained grass, and I've yet to see a course that couldn't reduce that by up to 10% without having any negative impact on the game, then if you're making that reduction, you're reducing labor, you're reducing your inputs like irrigation and fertilizer and pesticides, therefore you are reducing your cost, and therefore you are adding to the bottom line. So in terms of sustainability, you're increasing the biodiversity, you're increasing your habitat, and economically you're taking away cost, and therefore you're adding to the bottom line.